They say the first person who truly sees you changes you forever. I don't know if I completely believe that. I think what changes you is realizing that someone could see you. Because after that, you spend a long time realizing all the places where they don't. That's where Juno Loves Legs found me. If you're someone who still thinks about normal people or a little life, this book gave me a similar feeling. It's not that the stories are exactly alike, it's that these stories understand that something can happen to you when you're young or that's so foundational that it changes every relationship you have in your life. Juno Loves Legs follows two working class kids who grew up in 1980s Dublin. Juno is angry, impulsive, constantly being told who she is before anyone bothers to ask. Legs is gentle, artistic, and queer in a world that has no tolerance for that. Everyone around them has an opinion. Very few people are actually paying attention. Watching them find one another is almost painful. You never get this dramatic declaration of, "I've found my person." It's smaller and more subtle than that. They simply don't have to explain themselves all the time anymore. I realized that's what I connected with. Growing up, I noticed that people often noticed what I did more than what I felt. Behavior got attention. The reasons behind it usually didn't. After enough experiences like that, you stop wanting people to look too closely. You become funny or dependable or the one who's always fine. You get really good at reading a room before you're ever comfortable being inside one. Somewhere along the way, you start treating your own vulnerability as something that needs to be managed. Like, it's just easier for everyone if you just carry it yourself. Juno and Legs don't fix that in each other. They just make it unnecessary for a little while. Legs understands that Juno's anger isn't the whole story. Juno never asked Legs to become someone else in order to deserve love. There's something incredibly peaceful about that. I found myself thinking about how many relationships are built around being understood and how many more are built around being interpreted. Those are not the same thing. Once you've experienced being accepted without constantly editing yourself, without wondering if maybe you've shared too much, you remember that feeling. Years later, you might still find yourself searching for it. Not consciously, just knowing when it's there or when it isn't. This isn't an easy book. People don't suddenly heal. Poverty keeps being poverty. Grief keeps being grief. The damage people carry doesn't just disappear because somebody loves them. I do think love leaves evidence. Even if one person has known you completely, it becomes harder and harder to believe that you are exactly who the cruelest voices say you were. Maybe that's why this book has stayed with me. It reminded me of how much of adulthood is spent searching for places where you don't have to prove your way into belonging, and how unforgettable it is when someone, even if just briefly, makes that possible. I don't know if that's exactly what Karl, Geary, and